America is well known as a car-focused nation, and for many tourists here, if you want to get outside of the city centres, the only option appears to be renting your own vehicle. But on my trip to Boston, despite not having a car, I was able to get out and explore some amazing places across New England. So come with me in this video to see one of my favourite parts of the world, and to hear about how I managed to see this place without renting a car of my own. And so for day one of the trip, I had planned to head up to Portsmouth in New Hampshire. Now, Portsmouth itself is over 50 miles away from Boston, so it certainly isn't accessible by regular public transportation. But luckily I came across a bus company that runs regular services between Boston and various cities up in New Hampshire. So all I really needed to do was head over to Boston Central bus station and then catch a 90-minute bus from there up to Portsmouth. So that little piece of wood there, apparently that's a fragment from the USS Constitution. And I'm going to see the actual ship tomorrow. Portsmouth City itself is actually really walkable, so when you actually get there, there's no need to worry about catching any further public transportation to get around. And frankly, it's one of the most pleasant places I've ever had the joy of actually walking through. So I've just been walking around Portsmouth for the past half hour or so, and it is honestly just really pretty here. I mean, almost every other house is in traditional New England style, and they all look really, really nice. Just over behind me in that direction, there's a bright pink house, and it actually fits really well with the styles you've got going on here. It's just, like, the whole city centre area is just really, really nice. There's absolutely no rubbish. Well, the only thing lying around on the ground is all these leaves, because it's autumn. Well, Americans call it fall, but to me it's still autumn. But other than that, it's just really, really nice here. So I just crossed this suspension bridge over the river at the north side of Portsmouth to get into Maine, which is just behind me here. And literally as I was about to cross the main area, the alarm went because they are raising the bridge. Like, that bridge is going the whole way up there, so that that ship down there, or maybe not that one, it's turning around. Oh, it is, it's just circling. And then there's one over there. They're going to go under while that is going up. I was walking over that not even 1 minute ago. Now look at it. That is insane. Here it comes. Back down again. I mean, like, I know bridges can do that and all, but just seeing it happen in person and on the bridge I've just walked is really bizarre. Maine. I just crossed this bridge from New Hampshire into Maine, and now I am going back across into New Hampshire because I have more stuff I want to see in Portsmouth. In total I spent about 5 minutes in Maine, so I mean, I can say I've seen it at least, but yeah, I mean, those 5 minutes were fun, I guess. Okay, so I've just found the best street name in the whole wide world. There it is. Daniel Street. Best street name ever. Yeah. And so that marks the end of my first day here in Boston, and well, even though I wasn't in Boston today, Portsmouth was really such an amazing place. It was really interesting to see someone that's got the same name of a city back home that I know very well, but has its own unique history, and it's just a really interesting city all on its own. And if you are in Boston, it is really worth a visit. It's such a pretty place, and honestly, I'm definitely coming back here if I go to Boston again. So I am currently stood at a rest stop here. It is about 8:30 in the morning. We're currently in southern New Hampshire, and I'm on a day tour that takes us up into the White Mountains National Forest, because we're doing a fall foliage day tour today, which I am really excited about, but I'm also still kind of sleepy because I had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning for this, so yeah, I'm tired, and I mean, I'm sure there would have been a nice view here, but it's very foggy at the moment. So we've made our first proper stop here, not at a rest stop, but actually in the White Mountains National Park now, and we are just walking over to have a look at a nearby river to see what that looks like. So. So now I'm walking alongside the far side of the river from where we parked. I'm heading up to the other bridge and going to come across there, but this forest itself is just really nice, especially at this time of year. And just hearing the water running down there is just so peaceful here. Stop number 4 now that's actually in the White Mountains National Park. There are 5 in total on the trip if you include the rest stop, but that's not really a view. But it's currently this trail we've got to walk up to get to another viewpoint. And I mean, it's really picturesque already. We've got a little rocky river running down there, all the nice trees above us and stuff. And this is the first like proper, you know, amount of legwork we've actually had to put in, but definitely going to be worth it. One thing to note about this day trip is that we spent about half the total time actually going in the minibus between the different destinations. But thankfully, because we're driving in such a scenic area, the rides themselves were quite enjoyable as you got to see many things that we would drive past. But it is just something to take into consideration if you think about doing this trip yourself. Over, sorry. So we've just stopped by this, well, I guess it's a larger part of the river, and all I can just say is, wow. Just wow. This place is seriously amazing. So one thing I've just noticed is you can see how this mountain here, it's all completely nice and bright because it's got the sun on it. Yeah, when you turn around and look at this mountain, as you can see, because of where the sun is over there, this entire section of mountain is completely in the shade. And I don't know how well it comes on my camera because my GoPro can be a bit funny with light like this. But I can clearly see all the trees myself, but you can definitely tell how much different it is compared to that side. It's like two completely different hills, and, well, literally they are, but you know, they've got completely different visuals to them right now. And it's just quite a contrasting sight to see in person. So, what are my thoughts on this day trip? Well, personally I really enjoyed this. The chance to actually get out into rural parts of the USA, which is something that I wouldn't really have considered doing initially, was really enjoyable, and to get to see this part of the world was amazing, and I've honestly fallen in love with the New Hampshire countryside. Although there are a few drawbacks that may put a few people off. As I've already mentioned, you spend a lot of time actually driving around from place to place. Well, of course you aren't driving, but you understand what I mean. Also, this wasn't the cheapest sort of day trip you can do. I spent well over $100 or close to £100 in UK money. So for budget travellers, this may not be the best choice for you. But if you are coming in the autumn time, this is definitely something that I can recommend if you want to get out and experience an amazing part of rural New Hampshire that you might not get to see otherwise. And so for my third and final day trip in Boston, I hopped on a ferry from Boston Harbour and took the hour-long ride up to Salem. While driving direct from Boston to Salem is the quickest way to get there, due to the fact that Salem isn't too far away from Boston, there are plenty of different ways that you can actually take to get to Salem. Of course, here you can see me on the ferry, but there's also the option to take the train, and you can even catch a bus as well. Now I took the ferry out because I wanted to take the scenic route, but because I wanted more time in the city, I would later in the day take the Amtrak on the return, because these ferries do stop fairly early-ish into the evening. So if you want to have a full day there, but still want to take the ferry, it's best to take the ferry on the way there, and then take an Amtrak train back to central Boston in the evening. So I've just got off the ferry here in Salem, and I've now got about a 15-minute walk time at the centre, but it's looking really nice already. We had some nice views going in, so really looking forward to exploring more of the town. I mean, already barely got off the end of the ferry wharf, and there's some really nice picturesque buildings here already. Look what I found. Another awesomely named street. Blue trees. Apparently these trees were dyed blue as part of an art installation, so they aren't naturally blue. So it's not like there's some rare species of tree here in Salem, and it's not witchcraft, but it's apparently because of a project to highlight the immense amount of deforestation, which has led to a number of the trees here being dyed blue. Certainly makes for a weird view when you look at it. Now, I didn't manage to record a huge amount of footage while walking around downtown Salem because it was very busy. Being that it was mid-October in the run-up to Halloween, there were lots of people visiting Salem. All of the witch museums and Salem witch trial areas, they were very popular. A few of them were already booked out, though I did manage to go in one of the museums to learn about the Salem witch trials. Not to mention as well, there were loads and loads of performers in Halloween costumes all around the town centre, which was quite funny in some cases when one of them just walked around the corner, not trying to scare anyone, and some woman just randomly screamed. But the real highlight of my time in Salem was taking a harbour cruise on board a replica sail schooner. Now, I could go on about this for a while about how much I enjoyed this, but I think I'll just sit back and let you enjoy the views just as much as I did. It's alright, you weren't in it anyway, so don't worry.
Right, so they built Fort Pickering and they built Fort Lee, which was a larger fort, which is a little bit more inland.
Very loud, so I suggest you plug your side of the ear facing the cannon or both ears, okay? You say 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Fire in the hole! Woo! More time? Okay.
And just like that, the ship made its way back to the harbour at Salem, where I'll then board an Amtrak train bound for central Boston. Overall, I am really happy with what I managed to do during this trip, especially since the places that I visited in this video, I originally didn't even realise you could actually visit without renting a car here. So if you ever think about visiting the United States but unsure if you need a car, don't let that get in the way, because there are so many places that you can still explore in this amazing country.